And here we go. And good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, May 15th, 2021, around 9 o'clock Eastern Time. It is time for our next installment of Star Trek Radio Theater here on Live Long and Podcast, this is our particular show where we reenact Star Trek scripts with some creative voices and reinterpretations. We are back from a 2-week hiatus. We are doing our Voyager round. We are doing a flashback from the third season of Voyager, their second episode. They just got their ship back from the Kazons, if you remember. This aired September 11th, 1996, and it's 2373 in terms of Star Trek years, but it's also kind of 2293 because it's all these like flashbacks. Hence the title, with Tuvok as our lead character for this episode. And this is our 14th episode in our second season, Jane. Isn't that exciting?
That's pretty amazing, Dave.
Know. Hey, this episode was
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Wow.
We got here. We're here. Oh, you threw me off. Okay. Brannon Braga, you wrote this episode. Ashley Millard and Kevin Millard, they had some dealings with the script too. So we're going to get into it. All right, let's start.
The script, not the original script. We focus on the mess hall. Neelix is pouring an orange drink for Tuvok.
Anthraxic citrus peel, orange juice with just a hint of papaya seed extract, an experimental blend.
The success rate of your culinary experiments has not been high.
Ensign Goldwatt tried some yesterday, and she thought it was delicious. In fact, she had a second glass, and she never has seconds.
Ensign Goldwatt is Bolian. Her tongue has a cartilaginous lining. It would protect her from even the most corrosive acid.
All I ask is that you try it, Mr. Vulcan.
Tuvok picks up the glass, sniffs the liquid, and takes a sip.
Impressive.
Ah! I'll start squeezing that second glass. Breakfast is coming right up. Pecorin eggs.
Pecorin?
The most flavorful eggs in the sector. Scrambled with a little dillweed, a touch of ragazzo, a galactic favorite. Now, these eggs were not easy to prepare. After we picked them up on Paracas 4, I had to sterilize them in a cryostatic chamber for 3 days. Then, each and every one had to be parboiled.
Mr. Neelix, I would prefer not to hear the life history of my breakfast.
On Talax, it's tradition to share the history of a meal before you begin eating. It's a way of enhancing the culinary experience. My mother was brilliant. She could make every course, every garnish come alive by making it a character in a story. My favorite was the one about the crustacean who...
Flames surge up around the egg pan, setting the contents alight. Neelix quickly smothers it with a lid.
What happened?
Some sort of power overlord.
Neelix lifts the lid and takes a peek at the contents of the pan. It doesn't look good.
I'm afraid it decimated your breakfast. This is what my mother would call a tragic ending.
Engineering has been making adjustments to the plasma conduits to accommodate a new energy source. It may have created a thermal surge in the galley systems.
Janeway to Tuvok. Please report to the bridge. Mr. Neelix, I'd like you to join us as well.
Aye, Captain.
Captain's log. Stardate 50126.4. We have detected a gaseous anomaly that contains beryllium, a highly combustible and versatile energy source. We've altered course to investigate.
We focus on the bridge.
Ceruleum?
Yes, and possibly large amounts of it. If so, we're going to need to stockpile as much as we can. I'd like to convert Storage Bay 3 into a containment chamber.
My pantry?
I'm sorry, Neelix. You're going to have to make other arrangements.
Of course, Captain. You know, if I inject ceruleum into my thermal array, it might improve cooking time. Yes, and blow up half your kitchen in the process. Ceruleum is far more useful as a warp plasma catalyst.
The gas could also be used to boost deflector shield efficiency.
The vultures are circling.
Well, there's certainly no storage of good ideas. Have all department heads submit proposals for ceruleum usage.
Aye, Captain.
The anomaly is within visual range.
On screen.
A large blue cloud can be seen on the screen.
Analysis, Mr. Kim.
Yay. It's giving A.
Okay.
It's a class 17 nebula. I'm detecting. Look, there's standard amounts of hydrogen, helium, and 7,000 parts per million of ceruleum.
Captain, I recommend we use the buzzard collectors to gather the ceruleum. They'll cut through that nebula like ice cream scoops.
I'm picking up a lot of plasmic turbulence in there. It might be a puppy ride.
Tuvok, can you modify the shields to compensate?
Tuvok appears to be having some sort of medical emergency. His breath is shallow and his hands are twitching. When he doesn't respond to Janeway, the bridge crew reacts.
Tuvok!
Are you alright, Lieutenant?
I don't know. I'm experiencing dizziness and disorientation. Permission to go to sickbay.
Granted.
And then he leaves the bridge. Alone. I guess no one feels the need to accompany the dizzy and disoriented man. You know, just in case. We focus on the turbolift.
Deck 5.
Tuvok is not looking good. Suddenly we hear the haunting sounds of a young girl.
Help me! Tuvok!
There is a flash of light and we see a girl hanging over a big drop.
Help me, Tuvok!
We flash back to Tuvok as he exits the turbolift and staggers along the corridor. We flash back to the girl and see a very young Tuvok trying to rescue the girl.
Please, don't let go! Tuvok! Don't let me fall!
As Tuvok continues to have these flashbacks, he appears to be getting worse off, stumbling his way along the corridors, trying to get to sickbay.
No!
Her fingers slip from a young Tuvok's grasp, and she falls. We focus on sickbay. Kess is casually pushing buttons at the console and seems surprised as Tuvok enters and collapses. I guess no one felt the need to call ahead and alert the medical staff that their ill security chief was on his way down. We focus on sickbay. Tuvok is talking to Janeway as the doctor scans him.
I was holding a young girl by the hand, trying to prevent her from falling from a precipice. I was unable to keep my grip, and she fell to her death. And there is more. I had an emotional response. Anxiety, fear, an almost irrational anger at myself for letting her fall.
When did that happen?
It never happened. The girl was unfamiliar, and I have never been in that situation. It was me as a child. It did seem like a memory, but I don't recall the incident.
Well, it definitely was a traumatic episode. Your heart rate accelerated to 300 beats per minute.
Your adrenaline levels rose by 130%, and your neuroelectric readings nearly jumped off the scale. If you were a human, I'd say you had a severe panic attack.
I am not human.
No kidding. I don't know what happened to you, but there could be any number of explanations. Hallucination, telepathic communication from another race, repressed memory, momentary contact with the parallel reality. Take your pick. The universe is such a strange place.
I'll have Mr. Kim examine the sensor logs. Maybe our proximity to the nebula is affecting you somehow.
Janeway leaves.
In the meantime, Lieutenant, you are free to go. All of your vital signs have returned to normal, and I don't see any residual systematic damage. But I do want you to wear this neurocortical monitor. It's in case you have another episode, it'll record a complete encephalographical profile and alert sickbay at the same time.
The doctor places the device behind Tuvok's left ear.
A wise precaution, Doctor.
I know my stuff.
Thank you.
We focus on Tuvok's quarters. Tuvok has lit candles and is playing with blocks.
Structure, logic, function, control. A structure cannot stand without a foundation. Logic is the foundation of function. Function is the essence of control. I am in control. I am in control.
Tuvok's block castle collapses, and then the doorbell chimes.
Enter. Kess, what is it?
The doctor wanted me to adjust your neurocortical monitor to pick up additional peptide readings. I can come back later if this is a bad time.
No, don't come back. You may proceed.
What are you working on?
It is called a Kathira.
Kathira! What does that mean?
The approximate translation is structure of harmony. It is used as a meditation aid. Building it requires precise balance and spatial acuity. It helps to focus thought and refine mental control.
At the moment, it doesn't look very harmonious.
No, it does not. Thanks.
I'm curious. What does a Kathira look like when it's done?
The form is not predefined. It is a reflection of the builder's state of mind. Thus, it is different each time.
I'd like to see it when it's finished.
Tuvok goes back to playing with his blocks and ignores Kess. Things get awkward, so Kess gathers her stuff and begins to leave.
Well, good night.
Kess?
It's all right. I understand.
Kess leaves.
Structure, logic, function, control. A structure cannot stand without a foundation. Logic is the foundation of function. Function is the essence of control. I am in control. I am in control.
We focus on the corridor. Chakotay and Tuvok are walking together.
So, how are you feeling this morning?
If you are referring to yesterday's incident, I haven't experienced any further problems. I am fit for duty.
I didn't ask because I'm concerned about your ability to perform. I'm concerned about you.
There is no need for concern.
Sorry I asked.
My apologies, Commander. I am distracted. I spent 14 hours last night in deep meditation, trying to determine the source of my aberrant behavior. I could not.
Maybe you should try to forget about it for a while. I found that when you don't think about a problem, sometimes the solution comes to you.
It is difficult to forget when you're wearing a neurocortical monitor on your parietal bone.
Good point.
We focus on engineering.
Mr. Kim?
Yay. Mr. Kim, yay.
Give me A's. Alright. Move on.
I checked all the sensor logs. There's no sign of anything relayed from the amulet that would affect Tuvok or Voyager.
Anything unusual about the nebula itself, Mr. Kimye?
Thank you. No, it's a standard class 17.
I suggest we conduct a tachyon sweep of the nebula. It would reveal the presence of any cloaked ships.
Cloaked ships?
Yes, we should be extremely cautious this close to Klingon space.
Tuvok. The Klingon Empire is on the other side of the galaxy.
Yes. Yes, you are right, of course. I'm uncertain why I would make such an obvious error.
Maybe you should go back to the sick bay.
Tuvok is not looking well again. We see the nebula and readings on one of the monitors.
Tuvok?
Tuvok is back at the cliff. The girl is trying to hang on again. Help me, Tuvok. Please don't let go. No! Tuvok begins to fall, but Chakotay catches him and eases him to the floor. The neurocortical monitor is going crazy. We focus on sickbay. The doctor and Janeway are looking at a 3D scan of Tuvok's brain on a monitor.
I think we may be dealing with a repressed memory. The memory engrams in the dorsal region of the hippopotamus campus are being disrupted. It's causing physical damage to the surrounding tissue. In Vulcan medicine, this is known as Tolokan schism. It means that the subject is inhibiting a traumatic memory, which is beginning to resurface.
And that's causing brain damage?
Well, I am the expert. Strange, I know. In human subjects, repressed memories are nothing more than psychological traumas which can be dealt with standard therapeutic techniques. But in Vulcans, there is a physical reaction to the battle between the conscious and the unconscious. In extreme cases, the mind of the patient can literally lobotomize itself.
What's the treatment?
There is no treatment for this condition. Vulcan psychocognitive research suggests that the patient initiate a mind meld with a family member, and the two of them attempt to bring the repressed memory into the conscious mind.
I'm the closest thing Tuvok has to a family member on this ship.
That's why I've asked you to come. He has a request to make of you.
Tuvok is on a biobed, meditating.
Did the doctor explain the situation to you?
Yes. Tuvok, are you sure it's the right thing to do?
I don't know how else to proceed. The doctor tells me that this is a memory. And yet, no matter how hard I try, I cannot remember. If the doctor is correct, then this is an experience I pushed into my unconscious mind. It could be very dangerous to me, even life-threatening. I realize it's asking a great deal of you, Captain, and I did consider turning to one of the Vulcans on the ship. But this meld would be more intimate than most. A family member is normally chosen because of the implicit trust that usually exists. On this ship, I trust you more than anyone else.
Whatever happens, I'll be there for you, Tuvok. I'll help you get through this.
I will initiate the meld and attempt to access the memory fragment. Once that has been accomplished, you will act as my pylora.
Your pylora?
My guide, my counselor. You will help me reconstruct the memory in its entirety. And as I am reliving it, you will help me to objectify the experience. By processing the experience rather than repressing it, I can begin to overcome my fear, anger, and the other emotional responses, and to reintegrate the memory into my conscious mind.
When I'm in your memory, will I actually be reliving it with you?
No, I will be the only one who notices your presence. You will be an observer in the memory, but not a participant. This will give you the freedom to guide me objectively.
When do we start?
I will need time to prepare. Please return in 1 hour.
We focus on sickbay. It's 1 hour later. Tuvok and Janeway are sitting opposite each other in chairs in the surgery bay. Janeway is also wearing a monitor.
We're ready when you are, Captain.
Your mind to my mind. Your thoughts to my thoughts. I am taking us back to the boy that I was. The boy lying on the precipice.
We focus on the Excelsior Bridge. They are under attack. The crew are wearing 23rd century Federation uniforms. Welcome to the undiscovered country. We hear a familiar voice off camera.
Return fire!
They knocked out our targeting scanners!
Mr. Valente, get away from that station.
1 more second!
Damage reports!
The camera pans and we see steam leaking from a conduit. Out of the steam emerges the man with the familiar voice. Oh shit, it's Captain Sulu.
Seal that conduit!
Hull breach on deck 12, section 47. We've lost power on decks 5, 6, and 10. Casualty reports coming in. 19 wounded.
Tuvok, can you see me?
Yes.
Where are we?
My first deep space assignment aboard the Excelsior.
Why did you bring us here?
I did not intend to.
Can you take us to the precipice? The girl!
That is precisely what I attempted to do.
There must be some reason why your mind brought us here. Maybe this memory is connected to the girl in some way. How long ago was this?
Stardate 9521, approximately 80 years ago.
Who were you fighting?
The Klingons.
Klingons. Before you collapsed in engineering, you thought you were approaching Klingon space. Why are you fighting Klingons?
This battle was precipitated by an incident that took place 3 days earlier.
We focus on Gamma Shift crew quarters. Commander Janice Rand enters.
All right, Gamma Shift. Time to defend the Federation against gaseous anomalies.
Gaseous anomalies? We were charting gaseous anomalies on Voyager.
And that's when my problem began.
That's more than a coincidence.
How are you this morning, Ensign?
I am well, Commander. Thank you.
I thought you might like to see some of this morning's comm traffic before you went on duty. There's a message from the Yorktown I think you might be interested in. It's from your father.
Thank you.
You're not going to have time to drink that now, you know. You're due on the bridge in 5 minutes.
It's not for me. It's for the captain. I've observed that Captain Sulu drinks a cup of tea each morning. I thought he might enjoy a Vulcan blend.
Oh, I see. Trying to make lieutenant in your first month. I wish I'd thought of that when I was your age. Took me 3 years just to make ensign.
I assure you, I have no ulterior motive.
Whatever you say, Ensign. See you on the bridge.
You've never brought me tea.
That's because you drink coffee, Kathryn. We focus on the Excelsior Bridge.
Confirmation on the transition.
Tuvok pours his Vulcan tea blend into Sulu's gold rim USS 2000 teacup, and Sulu takes a sip.
Confirmation on the
Outstanding. I may have to give you a promotion.
That was not my motivation, Captain. I am not attempting to curry favor with you in any way.
Mr. Tuvok, if you're going to remain on my ship, you're going to have to learn how to appreciate a joke. And don't tell me Vulcans don't have a sense of humor, because I know better.
I will work on it, sir.
Very good. And thanks again.
He doesn't look anything like his portrait at Starfleet headquarters.
In the 23rd century, holographic imaging resolutions were less accurate.
This is a science station, isn't it?
Yes, I am one of several junior science officers.
Tuvok, why doesn't your service record reflect any of this? I thought your first assignment was aboard the Wyoming.
It's a long story, Captain. But suffice it to say, this was my first Starfleet career. I was 29 years old.
So what's happening? Are we about to encounter the Klingons?
Not exactly. The Klingon moon Praxis is about to explode.
Praxis.
During this period, it was a primary source of energy for the Klingon homeworld.
Praxis. Yes, its destruction would have lasting repercussions throughout the quadrant, and it led to the first Federation Klingon peace treaty.
That is correct.
But what does all this have to do with the girl on the precipice?
So here are the...
The ship shakes. Sulu's cup shudders its way off the small table and smashes on the floor.
I have an energy wave at 204 degrees mark port, sir.
Visual! My God.
A shockwave is heading towards them. It looks an awful lot like the temporal energy ribbon that leads to the Nexus, but it's purple.
Shields! Shields!
Everyone is thrown to the deck.
She is not answering the helm!
Starboard thrusters! Turn her into the wave!
Aye, sir.
Quarter impulse power! Damage report!
Checking all systems, Captain.
Don't tell me that was any meteor shower.
Negative, sir. The subspace shockwave originated at bearing Mark 23, Mark 75. Location is Praxis, sir. It's a Klingon moon.
Praxis is their key energy production facility.
So what happened? Did you go to Praxis?
No, we were warned off by the Klingons and resumed our survey mission. However, 2 days later, we learned that 2 Starfleet officers were accused of murdering the Klingon Chancellor. They were brought back to the Klingon homeworld to stand trial. Captain Sulu had served under both officers for many years, and he felt an intense loyalty to them.
Helm, set a course for Kronos. Maximum warp. Take us through the Azure Nebula. That should conceal our approach. Russian helmsman.
Aye, sir.
I don't get it. What's going on?
He is about to attempt a rescue of Captain Kirk and Dr. McCoy. As you can see, everyone seemed perfectly willing to go along with this breach of orders. However, I felt differently. Captain, am I correct in assuming that you have decided to embark on a rescue mission?
That's right. Do you have a problem with that, Ensign?
I do. It is in direct violation of our orders from Starfleet Command, and it could precipitate an armed conflict between the Klingon Empire and the Federation.
Objection noted. Resume your station.
Sir, as a Starfleet officer, it is my duty to formally protest.
Tuvok!
A pretty bold statement for Ensign with only 2 months space duty under his belt.
I am aware of my limited experience, but I am also very much aware of Starfleet regulations, and it is my obligation to carry them out.
That's enough!
Ensign, you're relieved. I'm so sorry about this, Captain. I assure you it will not happen again.
Ensign, you're absolutely right. But you're also absolutely wrong. You'll find that more happens on the bridge of a starship than just carrying out orders and observing regulations. There's a sense of loyalty to the men and women you serve with. A sense of family. Those 2 men on trial, I served with them for a long time. I owe them my life 12 times over. And right now they're in trouble, and I'm going to help them. Let the regulations be damned.
Sir, that is a most illogical line of reasoning.
You better believe it. Helm, engage.
Tuvok walks back over to Janeway.
You know, you did the right thing.
Perhaps.
We are approaching the Azure Nebula.
On screen.
We see a large blue cloud on the view screen.
Tuvok, that nebula. It looks very similar to the one we observed on Voyager.
We focus on the precipice. Help me, Tuvok! Please don't let go! No! We focus on sickbay. Tuvok breaks the meld as he has a seizure.
50 milligrams chlorhydrazine.
Are you sure you're a doctor?
Later, Tuvok is unconscious on a biobed.
There was a sudden disruption in his hippopotamus campus. Luckily, he was in sickbay, or he'd be in a coma right now. That's the good news. The bad news is that his synaptic pathways are continuing to degrade. Oh my god! If the repressed memories keep resurfacing on its own, it's going to cause more and more damage, I believe. Eventually, his entire neural structure will collapse, I think, resulting in brain death.
We were just starting to make some progress. We finally accessed the repressed memory. I saw Tuvok as a boy, and the girl on the precipice. Can I talk to him?
You saw Tuvok as a boy? What was he like? All right, not yet. He suffered a very severe neural trauma, so I'm keeping him sedated. I gave him a bunch of drugs for the next few hours. So I'll let you know when it's safe to revive him. We'll give him some adrenaline or something.
We focus on the ready room. Janeway is studying Starfleet records from 9521.6 when the door chimes.
Come in.
Harry Kim enters.
Ah, Ensign. What have you found?
Look, to tell you the truth, I don't see any connection between this nebula and the one the Excelsior saw 80 years ago. That one's a Class 17. Well, theirs was an 11. Both contain traceable elements of ceruleum, but that's about all.
But they do look similar.
To the naked eye, but not to the sensors. Technically, they're very different. You know, I've been talking to the doctor, and he tells me it's not unusual for a repressed memory to resurface because of a smell or visual detail. Maybe the visual similarities between the two nebulas simply triggered Tuvok's memory of the Excelsior.
Well, what about the memory of the little girl? What does she have to do with Tuvok's experiences on board Sulu's ship? The Excelsior seems so far removed from that childhood incident.
Look, you didn't even get my name right a little bit ago.
Sorry.
And now you're just like asking me all kinds of questions.
My prerogative.
But, Captain, why are you involving me in this? I don't even understand. Who knows what goes on in a Vulcan's mind? Maybe there's no connection. And going back to the memory of the Excelsior was just an accident. A stray thought Tuvok was having because of similarities between the two nebulas.
You may be right. Nevertheless, I've been studying the Excelsior logs.
What do they say? Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't say anything at all.
Nothing.
It would seem that Captain Sulu decided not to enter that journey into his official log. The day's entry makes some cryptic remark about the ship being damaged in a gaseous anomaly and needing repairs, but nothing else.
You mean this old fart falsified his logs?
It was a very different time, Mr. Kimway. Captain Sulu, Captain Kirk, Dr. McCoy, they all belonged to a different breed of Starfleet officer. Imagine the era they lived in. The Alpha Quadrant still largely unexplored, humanity on the verge of war with Klingons, Romulans hiding behind every nebula. Even the technology we take for granted was still in its early stages. No plasma weapons, no multiphasic shields. Their ships were half as fast.
No replicators, holodecks, like ever since I took Starfleet history at the Academy, I always wondered what it would be like to live in those days. It just drove me freaking crazy. I just thought about it all the time, and I was thinking
I know.
what it was like.
Yeah, I get it. Space must have seemed a whole lot bigger back then. It's not surprising they had to bend the rules a little. They were a little slower to invoke the Prime Directive and a little quicker to pull their phasers. Of course, the whole bunch of them would have been booted out of Starfleet today. But I have to admit, I would have loved to ride shotgun at least once with a group of officers like that.
The Bay of Sick to Captain Janeway.
Go ahead, Doctor.
I'm ready to give Mr. Tuvok a bunch of adrenaline. You ready to come down?
Acknowledged. I'm on my way.
We focus on sickbay. The doctor is having some sort of mental breakdown. Tuvok is sitting up and looking much better.
Several hours after we entered the nebula, we were ambushed by Klingons. A battle ensued, and we were forced to abort our rescue mission.
Do any of those events seem related to the girl in any way?
No. If there is a connection, I am not aware of it. I suggest we attempt another mind meld and try again to access my memory of the girl.
Agreed. Doctor?
They return to the chairs, and Kes attaches the monitor to Janeway.
Your mind to my mind. Your thoughts to my thoughts. I am taking us back to the boy that I was. The boy lying on the precipice.
We focus on the Excelsior bridge.
Hull bridge on deck 12, section 47.
Tuvok, we're back in the battle with the Klingons again. 80 years ago.
I am at a loss to explain, Captain. But it's hard to accept that this is a coincidence.
Agreed. I want to go back to the moment when you first saw the nebula. What happened?
Captain Sulu estimated it would take approximately 5 hours to traverse the nebula and enter Klingon space. He decided my shift needed some rest, so we returned to the crew quarters.
We focus on Gamma Shift crew quarters.
I attempted to get some sleep. However, my bunkmate, Dimitri Valtane, felt the need to discuss our situation.
Hey, Tuvok. Hey, go sleep?
No.
Me neither. I can't believe we're going to do this. It's so sexy. I didn't think the captain had it in him.
Had what in him?
My guts to defy an order and to rescue to some old rescue mission, help friends. What's the matter?
I take it from your tone of voice that you admire this trait?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's courageous.
It's illogical and reckless, which I attempted to point out to him on the bridge.
Oh, come on, Tuvok. Isn't it more fun than charting gaseous anomalies?
The human fascination with fun has led to many tragedies in your short but violent history. One wonders how your race has survived having so much fun.
Vulcans, you freaking guys just need to relax.
No, I will not relax. Ever since I entered the Academy, I've had to endure the egocentric nature of humanity. You believe that everyone in the galaxy should be like you, that we should all share your sense of humor and your human values.
Well, if you hated it so much, why did you start the Academy in the first place?
I joined under pressure from my parents, but I've already decided to resign my commission once this assignment is complete.
Your loss.
Valtane rolls over to sleep.
Tuvok, did you really mean that?
At this point in my life, yes. My experiences at the Academy and on board the Excelsior were not pleasant.
I knew you left Starfleet over 50 years, but I never knew why. I didn't realize it was because of a conflict with humans.
My perceptions of humanity and Starfleet were undoubtedly colored by the fact that I did not want to be here in the first place.
Your parents really forced you to go to the Academy?
It was their wish, and I felt an obligation to fulfill it.
What did you do those 50 years?
I returned to Vulcan, where I spent several years in seclusion, immersing myself in the Kolinar, a rigorous discipline intended to purge all emotion. I wanted to attain a state of pure and total logic.
What happened?
Unfortunately, 6 years into my studies, I began the Pong Far. I took a mate.
To hell.
Yes. We decided to raise a family together, so I chose to postpone my studies.
And what brought you back to Starfleet?
Raising children of my own made me appreciate what my parents experienced raising me. And I came to realize that the decisions I made as a young man were not always in my best interest. I understood their decision to send me to the Academy, and that there were many things I could learn from humans and other species. So I decided to expand my knowledge of the galaxy. Starfleet provided that opportunity.
Well, I'm glad you had a change of heart.
As am I, Captain. Although heart had very little to do with it. It was a logical decision.
I'm sure it was.
Red alert! All hands to battle stations.
What is going on? I thought we were still 5 hours from Klingon space.
A Klingon battlecruiser decloaked inside the nebula. At this moment, they were firing concussive charges across our bow.
We focus on the Excelsior bridge. We're being hailed, Captain.
On screen.
Mr. Sulu, I see they finally have given you the captaincy you deserve.
Thank you, Kang.
Do not let it end prematurely.
Kang, we've been on a survey mission studying this nebula. Our navigation system malfunctioned, and I'm afraid we got lost. As soon as we have completed repairs, we'll be on our way.
We'd be happy to escort you back to Federation space.
Very generous of you, but we can manage.
I insist.
Actually, an escort would be welcome. We'd hate to lose our way again.
Bring your ship about, bearing 181, Mark 2. And your
Nice to see you again, Kang.
The transmission ends.
Captain Zulu!
Man your station, Lieutenant Commander. We're not giving up just yet. Helm, come about. Tactical status.
They have their forward disruptors trained on us, sir.
Ensign Tuvok, what is the composition of this nebula?
Primarily oxygen and argon, with traces of theta, xenon, fluorine, and beryllium gas.
Beryllium. That's a highly combustible substance, isn't it?
Affirmative.
Is there any way we could ignite the ceruleum?
If we modified or modulated a positron beam to a subspace frequency, it would trigger a thermochemical reaction in the ceruleum.
Like tossing a match in a pool of gasoline. Would their shields withstand the blast?
Yes, but their sensors and tactical systems would be disrupted for several seconds.
That's all the time we need. Tuvok, modulate a positron beam and stand by. We'll ignite the ceruleum the instant we clear the nebula. Helm, prepare to engage maximum warp on my command.
Aye, Comrade.
All hands, this is the captain. Secure stations and batten down the hatches.
The positron beam is charged and ready.
On my mark, Ensign.
We're clearing the nebula!
Mr. Tuvok, light the match.
Kang's ship is sent tumbling by the exploding gas.
The Klingon ship's been disabled. They're not pursuing, sir.
Helm, set a course for Kronos. Engage!
We see the Excelsior flying through space. Kang's ship nowhere in sight.
Commander Rand, I want you.
Their long-range sensors are detecting 3 Klingon battlecruisers on intercept course. They're arming torpedoes!
Heading, Comrade.
Maintain course.
We focus on space. The Excelsior is maintaining course. They appear to be alone, but suddenly torpedoes come flying at them.
Return fire!
This can't get any worse! They knocked out our targeting sets! And there's sensors and all that shit!
Switch the manual!
Mr. Valtane, there is a rupture in the plasma conduit behind your console. Get away from that station.
Come on, man! 1 more second! Come on!
Dimitri, you must!
Valtane's station explodes and he is critically injured.
Bridge to sickbay. Medical emergency.
Tuvok!
We focus on the precipice. Tuvok, help! Don't let me fall! No! We focus on sickbay.
Doctor, what's happening?
Their memory and enneagrams are destabilizing contracting. Something must be going wrong with the mind meld. I'm going to bring them out of it.
Don't know what you're saying, but it's not working.
Their neural patterns appear to be locked together. I can't break the meld. The damage to his synaptic patterns is accelerating at this rate. He'll be brain dead in 20 minutes. Get me the cortical stimulator.
We focus on the Excelsior bridge.
I saw her again, Tuvok. The girl. When Valtane died just now, it seemed to cause the memory to resurface. What is it?
Something's gone wrong with the mind meld.
Suddenly, Sulu turns to Janeway.
Who the hell are you? Intruder alert! Get security up here.
What's happening? Why can he see me?
I asked you a question. Who are you? And what are you doing on my ship?
Tuvok and Janeway continue to ignore Sulu and just talk to each other.
It's an indication that the rate of deterioration in my brain has increased. At advanced stages of a Talokan schism, memories and thought processes become distorted and confused.
Ensign, do you know this woman?
I will break the meld, Captain.
No, don't. I think we're getting close to something. Everything seems to be centered around the death of Valtane.
Direct hit on the port bow. Shields down to 20%. Losing atmosphere in decks 5, 6, and 7.
I'll reroute auxiliary power to structural integrity.
Maybe something happened in that moment between the two of you. Some detail you aren't remembering. I want you to try and replay those events one more time.
I will try, but I must point out that if my neural structures collapse during the meld, you will suffer brain damage as well.
I understand.
Security has arrived on the bridge.
Take those two to the brig!
The two armed security officers lead Tuvok and Janeway into the turbolift. We focus on the Excelsior turbolift.
Captain, if we replay those events and they see you, it will disrupt the memory again.
Then we've got to find a way to make me inconspicuous.
We focus on Gamma Shift crew quarters. Commander Rand has entered. Tuvok is making his Vulcan sucking up to the captain tea again. All right, Gamma Shift. Time to defend the Federation against gaseous anomalies. Rand turns to Tuvok as the rest of the Gamma Shift leaves the quarters. How are you, Ensign? Janeway walks up as Tuvok moves closer to Rand. Who are you? Tuvok neck pinches Rand and she falls to the floor unconscious.
We could have just asked.
Asking female officers for their clothing could lead to misunderstandings.
But undressing your commanding officer after knocking her out would never lead to a misunderstanding. We focus on sickbay. The doctor places a small device on Tuvok's forehead.
I programmed a cordial stimulator to emit Thor, the god of thunder radiation. We'll bombard his telepathic cortex with lightning. That should be enough to terminate his melt. We'll begin a 20 kilodyne burst of 5-second duration on my mark. Okay, you got this? All right, now.
Oh no.
It's working. I don't know how, but it's working. Their neural patterns are starting to separate. My God, I'm a genius.
What is it?
That's Tuvok's memory engram. I finally found it. That's the captain's. But this red pattern here seems to be some sort of other enneagram.
A third memory engram? How's that possible?
It's not, which means it can't be the real enneagram. Can't really be one. From the neurochemical modulation, I'd say it's something masquerading as an enneagram. The way viruses sometimes mimic certain blood factors to avoid being destroyed by antibodies.
So, you're saying it's a virus?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not an expert. The the god of thunder radiation must have caused it to manifest itself. That's all. That's my explanation. Yes. Increasing the radiation levels from Asgard should destroy it. Go to 40 kilodynes. 10-second burst now.
Is that where the caretaker's from?
No.
We focus on the Excelsior bridge.
The Klingon ship's been disabled, sir. No longer pursuing.
Helm! Set a course for Kronos. Engage. Who's at communications?
Who's that? Who's this? We can talk together back and forth. You had no idea who was doing that.
Where is she?
So the long-range sensors are detecting 3 Klingon battle cruisers on intercept course. They're arming torpedoes.
Maintain course!
Return fire!
They knocked out our targeting sensors and our
Switch
scanners
the
again.
fuel!
Mr. Valtane, there's a rupture in the plasma conduit behind your console. Get away from that station.
Come on, man! One more second!
Dimitri, you must!
It's about to happen. Try to remember every detail about the next few seconds. Concentrate.
Tuvok!
Help me! We focus on the precipice. Help me, Tuvok! We focus on the Excelsior Bridge.
I saw her, Tuvok. I saw the girl. Stay with it.
I am trying, but my mind is weakening.
This is our last chance. Take us to the precipice. Concentrate. Take us to the girl.
We focus on sickbay.
It's working! The mind meld is almost broken. The Asgardian radiation appears to be killing the virus. Increase the Thor levels to... The virus is migrating! It's embedding itself into the captain's brain! Cortical stimulator!
Stimulator!
We focus on the precipice. Suddenly, we see a young Janeway on the cliff reaching for the girl instead of a young Tuvok. Kathryn, help me! I'm far from the bones of my ancestors. Kathryn, please, don't let go! Don't let me fall! Akuji Moya! We focus on sickbay.
Program a 50 Akuchimoya burst 5-second duration on my mark. Now!
We focus on the precipice. We're back to young Tuvok at the cliff's edge. Help me, Tuvok! We focus on sickbay.
The virus protein structures they're breeding down, I think. It's dying, I think. Increase the Asgardian Thoron radiation to, 80 kilodynes. There's no math to this. 50 seconds now. Do it.
I did it.
We focus on the precipice. This time there's a new young boy at the edge. Help me, Dimitri, please. Don't let go. Don't let me fall. We focus on sickbay.
Again!
We focus on the precipice. This time, it is a boy in a baseball cap with a big gold D. Don't let me fall! No! An African child. No! An Asian girl. Oh, no! A Middle Eastern boy. No! A caveman? Dave thinks it's more like a cave boy. No! We focus on sickbay. The mind meld is broken. Janeway and Tuvok seem relieved. It's some time later. The doctor has a molecular scan pulled up on a monitor.
It's very clearly a visual parasite of some kind. We can see it. But its origin and Jerome classification are not on record.
We were able to kill it using Thor radiation from Asgard.
What do you know about it?
You heard the kid. The virus thrives on peptide generated in the brain or something. It's like Pepto-Bismol. It evades the body's immune system by disguising itself as some sort of memory repeating thing. Does that make sense?
The parasite used the childhood memory of a falling girl as camouflage.
Yes, cheating a false memory so traumatic that the mind would repress it. And that's where it would live in person after person. Somehow, I have no idea how, but hiding in a part of the brain that conscious mind would want to avoid at all costs.
When it sensed the death of the host, it would leave to find another?
That's why it migrated from Valtane to me.
What about the girl? Did she ever really exist? or did the organism invent the memory?
Very good, Kess. Memory is a tricky thing. So is medicine. If it was a real event, it's been buried and copied and twisted so many times that there's no really real way to tell what really happened here.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Janeway and Tuvok leave sickbay. We focus on the corridor.
I'm curious. Did the Excelsior ever save Kirk and McCoy?
Not directly. We were forced to retreat back to Federation space. As usual, Captain Kirk provided his own means of escape. But we did play a pivotal role in the subsequent battle at Kittimer.
Mr. Tuvok, if I didn't know you better, I'd say you missed those days on the Excelsior.
On the contrary, I do not experience feelings of nostalgia. But there are times when I think back to those days of meeting Kirk and Spock and the others, and I am pleased that I was a part of it.
In a funny way, I feel like I was a part of it too.
Then perhaps you could be nostalgic for both of us and never do that again.
And that concludes our reading of Star Trek Voyager's flashback from the 3rd season. I'm Dave Mader here on Live Long and Podcast, and we've just completed our reading. We're going to bring in our cast now. First, I'd like to introduce our lead for tonight. We had Kevin Millard in the role of Lieutenant and also Ensign Tuvok. How you doing, Kevin?
Good.
Great job tonight. A lot of fun. This was quite a freestyling episode tonight.
It really was, yes.
Yeah, there was a bit of some improv going on. Also, coming in next to me here is Jane Mader, my wife. She was playing Captain Janeway, and you were also Chakotay.
Yeah, Chakotay.
Yeah, that was cool.
My wife was playing.
And then we had Ashley Millard in several roles, include as our narrator, but also as Commander Janice Rand, as Neelix, as girl. No, how many times do you say no, Tuvok? Don't let me fall.
This girl does it all.
So many times.
So many. You were so many roles. Great job. We have to get into it. Also, we had Jeff Mader as in the role of the
guy.
This freaking guy in the role of the Doctor, as well as Kang. I was also in the role of Cass tonight, and we were running a sickbay of horrors where
Yes.
there was malpractice lawsuits going on all around with my sickbay.
They put a computer was malfunctioning.
I felt like Tuvok and Janeway were running out of that sickbay by the end. They were like, let's just get out of here before it's too late. We also had Tom Mott Tyrell in the role of Lieutenant Commander Dimitri Valtane, who was what was that Valtane? Who was he exactly?
I don't know, but it cracked me up. Hey, you Vulcans, you gotta relax.
You guys
Why
need
don't you
to
just quit
relax,
Starfleet then?
Yeah. And you were also Ensign Harry Kim. You were no, I'm Kim Ye.
Kim Ye.
Yeah, it's just shout out like it's just so sad. There's like Kim Ye is like not a thing anymore.
I didn't know it was a thing.
It's
I didn't know it was a thing, so I didn't know it wasn't a thing anymore.
Kanye
I missed it.
Kardashian.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I don't know. I don't care. I see.
Yeah, well, hey, it's there's so many things to keep track of.
Well, in pop culture, we wanted to make sure we like gave a shout out to it before
before it was gone forever, for sure, certainly.
Should have had like a Bill Millis or something like that.
we built up to this.
Still my favorite.
Gates.
I'd also like to say I was Sulu tonight, but I didn't really have a great Sulu plan. I was kind of just going to see what happened. I don't know if it was very
It was
consistent.
good though.
It was,
It was good. It was
was
good.
okay?
Yeah. Did you put a
We
sound
like
effect on it
Sulu.
or no?
No, he was just a straight guy.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
with the cat, I always like playing Kess.
Yeah.
It's
Kess
the
is
only
always
time
like-
anyone's ever called Sulu a straight guy.
Yeah,
Hulu
No,
was great.
I
Yeah,
don't think
until
Well,
the
until the
movies.
new movies.
I don't think the Doctor like directly talks to Kes throughout this episode. She's always there, but like he's always like talking.
I was
to
trying
somebody
to interject on Kess's behalf because Kess was like,
I'm doing things for you, Doctor.
Well,
Yeah.
and what
And
the
he's
heck
yelling
was,
at her. He's like, "Give me things!"
Janeway? What the hell was Janeway like doing alone with Kimye?
I don't know.
you guys had- yeah, there was a bond between.
She
Jane
was
and
like, look out there in deep space. You hadn't seen that shit before, had you?
with that chat you guys had about the old days. You're like, ever since I took Starfleet history, I've been thinking about this shit.
Yeah. Well, what's the captain?
from
What's the
Janeway
captain
Ford?
talking about? Like the old days with the little Jensen.
Little
like,
ensign. I don't know. It's lonely.
and
in
then,
spa-
like
it's
walking
lonely in
over and like
space.
let's just like walk out and like look at the stars. There's
Yeah, I
something
know,
going
you-
on there. I don't know.
There might be.
They were very fun, your characters tonight, Mott. I gotta say they had some interesting attitudes. Your Valtane and your Harry Kim. Plus, I think you were like a crewman, right?
Well, yeah, the crewman had like one line.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
I-
It came up
I-
on me. I just said whatever the fuck.
I screwed up because I forgot to assign a couple roles, including Tom Paris. Tom Paris only says one line in this episode, and it wasn't even registered on the software that we use to kind of just pick up the lines. So Paris got passed over there, and so who ended up reading it?
Jeff.
Jeff was the Tom Paris.
Good job, Jeff.
Hey, yo, what's going on, man? I don't know why I did it as Jamaican, but I did.
What's up?
I
Peace,
didn't remember that was the case.
peace, love, and sexiness.
He was a Jamaican
Double
Tom
sign.
Paris.
It was Jamaican Top Paris. Yes. Go back and listen to the line.
It'll be a little treat for you when you're editing, Dave.
Yeah, when I go through.
Definitely.
Which, by the way, I will go through here and create an edited version that will go up, in our audio feeds, because those are a lot of fun, although they are, a bit of work in the editing side of things. I do like the finished product quite a bit that we get out of it. It's usually really a lot of fun to go back and listen to.
Like Dave hates when like these like people in space say like fuck, damn, pussy, cunt.
That's not like
Still alive.
He knows.
I only hate when they say it in
You're right,
space.
Mott. Dave is not a fan.
I only hate when they say it in space, Mott. It's
It's okay to say it on planet Earth.
yeah, it depends. Planet side's fine, but
Okay. You gotta keep that language.
This beast
Grounded.
snatch carries much weight in space. I said beast snatch.
Business?
Jeff, what do I
Business?
say?
No, he's saying biznatch.
Okay.
I all I know is Mott.
Another word I don't know.
Well, that was from earlier. Yes.
Well, sorry.
Adam said we were sounding great. Maybe I don't know. That was from earlier. I
I
said.
don't know. Maybe that's before the
That was before the episode.
It's out of
profanity.
context. He wasn't
Yeah,
saying that
before
right
we-
now.
Before we went, sounding great, guys.
Before we went live.
Before we started improv this episode.
Sounding great, guys. Love the language. Keep up the good work.
Yeah. That was interesting.
I don't think you even need to tell them where we're coming from next. They're already
Dave,
there.
what do we got coming
They're
up on
searching.
the Live Long and Podcast series
Long
of podcasts?
Well, we got a whole bunch of different things, Jeff, going on. In addition to our back catalog, where we watched all kinds of shows like Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Lower Decks, and all of the movies and different things. We also have Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9, which is an ongoing series. As you know, you're the lead of it. Tell us.
Yes. We'll be covering Destiny next week. Get ready for some religious prophecies. If you love Bajorans, buckle up.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't love a Bajoran-centric episode? Who doesn't love a Bajoran?
This is a
religious-
Bajoran conversation, and you should see yourself out of it if you don't know what I'm talking about, yo.
That's Jeff's punch it. That's
Yeah,
That's my
Jeff's
punch.
Jeff's punch it is
He's-
Destiny.
buckle up.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. Get ready.
Buckle
It's
up.
better than punch it.
It is.
It's going to be a rough ride.
gonna be a rough ride. Safety first, Sean. That should be on.
Kira
I'm
and
gonna
Cisco
be
are
sitting here
gonna-
enjoying myself later.
So every Tuesday night we watch Deep Space Nine. We're into season 3 right now. On Wednesdays we watch original series with our dad. We watch random. We're watching all those out of order. We only have about 25 episodes left or so, which is kind of fun. So we're kind of knocking them off as we're going. The next episode that we're going to be doing, I know right off the top of my tongue, because we just did Alana of Troyes most recently. We're going to be doing Dagger of the Mind next. Watch out.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, watch out. Dagger of the Mind, 8 o'clock on Wednesday night with Jodie Simpson and Adam Woodward and Ted Mater.
That's exciting stuff.
Hey,
What
Dave,
do
I
we
gotta
have?
ask you this question. Everybody wants to know, what's that shit your dad watches?
He watches
What's that called?
Green Acres.
No. I mean,
Gilligan's Island.
Ted Rewatch or something like that?
Ted Treks. Ted
Yeah,
Treks.
that track. Yeah.
Oh,
On Wednesdays, you should tune in, Mott.
That shit be funny, yo. like Ted be looking at that shit. Then he's like, damn, I remember when I saw that back in the day. And that shit was like fucking yo.
Yep.
Okay.
Dave, what do we have coming up on Superman Bros podcasting?
Well, good thing for some of us is that we have nothing going on in terms of the month of June, really, because we just finished up Big Brother Canada 9. Jameel Robinson and I did the 10 weeks on that show. Big Brother USA, which Jeff Mader will be dusting himself off for to come back for the coverage. Won't start till July 7th.
It's on at a reasonable time, Dave.
Yeah, it's about the time zones, right? So it's going to be coming on July 7th. So we'll be covering Big Brother USA season 23 starting July. And then we also did some MCU coverage this year, which Ashley Millard and Jameel Robinson and we talked about WandaVision and we talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And there was also that one we did, Jeff, you and me and Mott, we did... The Serpent, right? Sometimes we do Netflix shows, and then a year earlier we did Tiger King. That was with like Candace and Sterling when he was in Australia.
He's still in Australia.
He might still be there. Who knows where he is?
Still there.
So yeah,
Gonna come back with an Aussie accent.
Yeah, so we have all kinds of content over there on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting, and then we got also Trivial Debates, our third channel, where we talk about movies, TV, sports, and more on our monthly channel, or a monthly episode the last Sunday of every month around 11 a.m. Jodie Simpson set to host. This will be on May 30th. Adam Woodward will definitely be one of the contestants. That's all I can tell you for now.
Okay, well, that's exciting stuff. What do we have coming up next week on Star Trek Radio Theater?
Well, we're going to do an original series. I've been really itching to do the Squire of Gothos.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's Trelane.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Well, I guess that's settled.
Yeah, we need to bring another guest. We're probably due for a guest star to come in, although it's original series and maybe not the best time. Yeah, we have to look at the line count. So, but if we can, we'll try. We also are hoping that the Chans will be back for soon because they had a lot of things going on recently. So, and that's it.
Right. Okay. Well, Dave, take us away for yet another episode of Star Trek Radio Theater.
All right, well, how do I take us away in this?
Calgon.
Okay, well, until
engage the stimulators.
Engage the stimulators.
On your
cordial stimulators.
The corticoils stimulators. All right, have a good one, everybody.